Welcome back with Happy Chat. So this kind of goes out to more of the people that knows me and that's sneaking around watching me and pretending they're not. You watch me fucking every day, like every day I go out, and if I don't go out, you're making noise for me to come out. It's fucking hilarious. But retarded. You see, I got. Let me explain to you all. I had a woman hack into my medical accounts, and in that she found out more than I knew about myself. And she ended up falling out with my mum over something that I didn't know, but I figured it out. It was something to do with my medical records. And yet I never had either of them explain what had happened. Then my sister had broke into adoptions to get medical records or adoption files. And so she was able to trace her family because she was adopted herself. And voila, I found out that I have a sister that I didn't know I had who was adopted. But this all came after me growing up feeling and saying about how I felt adopted. And then I just happened to have an adopted sister who broke into this place and found the medical files. Then I happened to be living in another place in Ireland while this sister came to my mother while I was looking after her children and fell out with my mum then, which I believed had something to do with me again. So I didn't really know, but I knew. So then it came to tracing back from younger years about what had happened, and memories that I had were I remembered lying on a desk, an operating desk, with several people with coats and masks on them. And now my mum told me that I kicked the dentist and run off. Now I remember that, but this wasn't that time. This was different. This was something else. I was drugged up and they were trying to operate on me. And also remember missing, lost, where I didn't know where my parents were. And then all of a sudden, I was home again. A lot of mystery in between a whole lot of it anyway. So I also found out then when I did some looking into it that my family used to have meetings and I was never at them, never asked to them. And also when my dad died, his home got cleaned out, but I was never able to go to get any of his belongings or anything in the house. Was never able to go into the house to see or get anything, which I found a little suspicious. And his death was another one. While he died, I was told a story that night. Or my mum was. I was next to my mum. I was only a child at the time. But I remember every word. And then later on, well, last year, I found that everybody that had found it was supposed to be at the scene. I followed them. I tracked them down as I got older, or as I was growing up. I'd find out information about who they were, what type of person they were, and stuff like that. And then when I got close to them, they died. So I thought there was something to it. Then it came to a stage, there was one left, and he died. And there was only two men that came to my door that night. And so I went and asked about what had happened. And the story I was given was a different story than the story that the man told, or one of the men told. So the man didn't say anything. But the story the man told that night of me dad dying was a different story. So moving from that, I recently started calling out things that I knew. I grew up in, it's alright of a place. I always was cautious about the people. I always knew my neighbours didn't like me for some reason. And I started taking out my family photos and that and looking at them and saying, oh fuck, it looked like my parents didn't even like me. When you'd see me in photos, it was like they were pushing me away. Or my brother, they were hugging him and stuff like that. I thought this was strange. So I started going through all the photos and I put them up on a board and that, and every photo was like that. It was like they were scared of me or they didn't want me there or something. Which didn't make sense. Like, I know we could have several children and you could favour one or the other for different qualities, but you still love your children. You don't push them away out of photos. So that brought me back to being adopted again. And then I started up this channel. Obviously there's more to it, but just filling you in a bit. So started up this channel after outing a pile of people around here. And then I started being hounded by loads of people. And one of the people that I was friends with, and I looked like like a brother, and I thought we got on well, and I found out, but I knew there was something there all along. I just wasn't saying it, but I was playing along, as I've done all my life, with the people that I've hung about with. Because I've not always been that nice of people. But I hung out with them. I always seemed to end up with the rough side of life. So anyway, I was hanging out with this dude, helping him. And as I got to know him, I found that his sister was doing chartering. And at the same time, I was finding out about my history in the chartering and how I was linked to several companies and how these companies were making money off my name. Then I noticed I had the cops, psychiatrists, doctors come to my house 7 times, I believe it was, within 2 weeks. I got attacked. They tried to run me down. And I believe they wanted a reaction. They wanted me to fight. Because this is where I used to live life. you'd have to fight to survive. But it was like they wanted to put me into a mental house with the psychiatrist, the doctor, and all coming around and through my history. And they wanted a reaction. So they wanted me to fight, or they wanted me to do something crazy, which I probably would have done in my past. So I knew this, and I knew not to react. And I did get hit, and I did want to retaliate, but I knew that I couldn't, that I needed to wait and find out who was all involved. Then I got to see the whole fucking community's involved. We're here. So anyway, dealing with that as I go on. So I'm finding out, recalling things when I was younger. I'd go missing out of some of the homes that I would be living in. So I live in a row of houses. There's 10. And then a few of the houses, my own house, and number 10, I went missing out of. Now, doors, windows, all were locked apparently. And yet I be found out on the back street, crying and roaring. I don't know how I got there. I couldn't remember, but there's a lot of connections to underground and another neighbour at number 8, I believe. And there's something about their house, their street, their yard, the garage. And it was near there I would be found. So anyway, my mum would say she didn't know how I got there. Now, to me, I was gassed or something at night time. It was always when at night time when we go to bed, then I would end up outside. It didn't happen to anyone else, it just happened to me. And this is what, going back to one of the moments I found myself laying on a bed with people operating or about to. And I can't recall, I try to recollect, I haven't really meditated to go looking for it, I've just been rolling with life. Probably if I did go and meditate, it'd be the wise thing to do and focus to that. But I believe I ran off, and that's where my mum was telling me. Now, I also recall then that my mum used to tell me a story about she lost a child who was born dead. But then I remember this feeling I have that I was in the back room and I was wrapped up and put into the cupboard as if I was dead. And then they heard me and brought me up and put me into the kitchen to see if I'd survive. But in my life of growing up, I was told someone had died in the back room. Whether it was that baby or was it me, I don't know. I can't recall. Haven't focused, meditated on it. Just rolling with life, letting it as come to me as it comes to me. So, in all that, then I had my mum tell me this story about another brother I had who was in foster care and who had tried to choke me, but my father had pulled him off me. And this was in the kitchen, where I believe that this is where I was taken from the bedroom up and put into the kitchen to see if I'd survive. But my mum told me that this half brother that I had tried to choke me, who had mental issues. But for the age I was, there was nothing that I could do that would affect that. Obviously, I don't know his mentality at that time, so I can't say that. But I can remember who I was. And from what I remember, he didn't try to choke me, that it was my mother. And as I got older in life, I found my mum wishing that she didn't have me, because she reckoned all her problems in life was because of me. So anyway, that caused a bit of a disturbance. And this brings me back to my surroundings today, my neighbours. I was just out looking through the back of my house, and it made me think if there was a well there. There used to be a well in the field out back. And I used to say this, and people used to say, no, there wasn't, and all this here. And then I had people tell me that there was a graveyard nearby, but it was out the front. And they used to tell me that it was under the houses, and I think they were trying to disguise the tunnels and that from things that I've been saying. But I did my own searching and realized I found maps of the graveyard, and the graveyard was out in front of the houses that we live in. But there was also a well, and I've got that in the deed out the back of the houses, which people also denied it wasn't there, but it was. But why would they deny it? And they've lived here as long as I have. Why would they try to cover that up? And plus, these are all supposed to be religious people, Catholics and Protestants. But when you look at it, in farmlands is Protestants, which relates back to the person who had hacked into my accounts. And brings me to post offices, same family that hacked into my accounts. And then the whole chartering, that goes back to the family that I've been brought up as, Gilbride, who that man that was helping was married into my family. Who was best friends with another man in America who was dying. And his missus was this man's sister who was into chartering. But the man I was helping was his best friend. And he knew everything that I was doing in the chartering and finding out about my history. So I came to realise these fuckers were doing magic on me and trying to prevent me from finding out and getting what was mine. And then, once they knew, they started hounding me, sending people after me, using whose money? Wasn't theirs anyway. Stolen money. And then everybody that got involved took that money. And now, you who is watching that took that money, it's cursed. And you're cursed for taking it. And if I were you, I'll be begging for forgiveness. But I'm a man of God. I don't curse any of. I just don't give a fuck about any of it. These mean nothing to me. And this is where I say family. Who the fuck is family? Family is the ones that's under your roof. The ones that look after you. That stand by your side, who are loyal, loving, caring, honest. That's not here. That's not in this community. In this community, what you get is two-faced people who act nice to your face and who would stab you in the back for a couple of pounds. And I've seen it as I grew up all my life. They will speak to each other and then they will talk about each other or tell me stories about, oh, did you hear about this one or that one and this one and that one? And then I see them fucking chatting each other. I'm like, you two-faced bastard. And that's just not one of them, that's all of them. And whenever I'd be there and I'd be trying to smoothen it out and correct what they're saying, I'm not saying I'm an angel or anything, but I know what's right and wrong. And I don't go talking about anybody behind their back. If they do something wrong, I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say it. I'll be truthful about things. But I'm not going to start making up lies because somebody else told me. I'll find out for myself. Like I've found out many things for myself where people would say, don't hang with this one or don't hang with that one. They done this, they done that. Oh, and like you're an angel. So anyway, I would go on ahead and do whatever I wished to do. And I would find out for myself. Other people's word, well, wasn't very supportive and from how I seen how they were as people, backstabbing each other, talking about how great each other were to their faces and smiling and laughing and joking. And they'd be walking away and be like, what a cunt that is. Anyway, filling you in on my story, my life story. As I was thinking today, I might write another book about my life. And this time I might actually it could take a while because there's a lot. But yeah, it's something I'm looking about starting. Maybe. I'll see. But I was just this evening and I found that I was out looking and out the back where the well was. And I just felt drawn to it for some reason. I believe there's something with that farmer. I know there's something with that farmer. He's been watching me like a fucking hawk. But hey, how's a hawk watch a hawk? You're watching and so am I. Anyway, to everyone else, I hopefully enjoyed my story. Just a part of my life. So now I just go off and I'll think about, will I write this story? Will I make this into a book? So much to be told. A lot of happenings. A lot of happenings that I haven't even mentioned. Guns, drugs, stabbings, people going missing, different things, covering up things. And I've seen that a lot in my life, a lot of covering up, and I've known a lot. I just minded my own business. The way I looked at it is, it doesn't affect me, it's none of my business of what anybody's doing. But what I found out is everybody was into my business behind my back. So I started calling out everybody on their bullshit. And then I started getting hounded. It's like, what do you call that? It's like that film, The Hunger Games. But yeah, in an amusing way, like. So anyway, I'm just kind of sharing because I'm just getting it all off my chest, or at least some of it, and that's just a way of sharing it. So you can look at your own life and be careful where you're stepping. No matter who, what, where, when you are, wherever you are, look at people. Look at how they are approaching things. Is it in a good way? And if it's not, you don't need to be there. You need to be somewhere else, around somewhere else, around someone else. If people aren't doing good, leave it. Move different direction, around different people. My problem was I didn't. I'd moved to different people, yeah, which in a different direction. I kept moving downhill. And yeah, one place would be as bad as the other, and the next place, and the next place. And the only way I was able to get out of that was be on my own, get away from them all. And then I find that they start surrounding me. But what I'm saying is if you find that yourself in any situation at all that's negative, you need to take yourself away from that. It's not good. And there is karma. In a sense, this is my karma. It is what it is. I was no angel, as I say. But I never went out and did anyone wrong on purpose or deliberately tried to hurt anyone or anything like that. I would defend myself, but I would never go out to hurt anybody, mentally or physically. Not in a deliberate way with that intention. Obviously, it's happened in defense of who I am. When someone's offended me or tried to assault me or something, I defend myself. But to actually go out and hurt somebody and mean to go out and hurt somebody, no. That's just wrong. I'm not saying it's right to hurt anyone in any way, not at all. But to stay away from that altogether, you need to look at your surroundings, look at the people that you're surrounding yourself with. And if they're not with good intentions, then you don't need to be there. And if you are there and you do get involved, do understand that there is karma. Karma's real. I've seen a lot of people cross me. And not all the time have I went to do something about it. Not when it comes to relationships anyway. But I've seen them people get hurt. And that was karma. So be kind to yourself by being around kind and loving people. Or otherwise, you'll suffer. This happy jabba. Love, the only way, and peace.